I called Trump today because I am ashamed of how we are responding and not responding to the threats on him. And I know you can roll your eyes and say, oh, yeah, he asked for it. Listen, that's your choice, and I think it's a wrong choice, okay? We got to get out of the judgment business unless it's judging ourselves.
Fredo, that's Fredo Cuomo, formerly of CNN. Wasn't he a grope meister? Wasn't he groping everybody? And like his brother, right? His brother, the former governor, and he was groping and sentencing thousands of elderly people to certain death in their nursing homes during the Wuhan Red Death. And Democrats, you know, they're a death machine. Death machine. Well, happy Tuesday once again, and welcome back. Hey now. Welcome back to hour number 3. Saw a story pop up during the break here. I want to get back to Hillary Diane Rodham Clinton being a vicious, while being herself, revealing herself. But a story did just pop a few minutes ago from Radar Online. The sordid double life of CNN anchor Connie Chung's husband, Maury Povich. Oh, no, not Connie and Maury Povich. I can't stand it. That's a terrible. Connie, she was a CBS News reporter, then CBS News anchor woman, and it was a big deal. And then she went to CNN, then I think she went to MSNBC. Now she just talks to people in a bus stop wearing a funny hat, and nobody wants to talk to her. Amazing stuff. But turns out, all was not paradise in the Connie Chung, Maury Povich household. It's terrible. I feel so bad. Legendary news anchor Connie Chung is releasing a tell-all book next month. She's just putting it all out there because she wants to sell a few books, The highs and lows of her stellar career, but it's her TV star husband who has far more juicy stories to tell because Radar Online can reveal warts and all the details of the talk show host Maury Povich's sordid double life. This is, all Democrats, I think, are like this. This is why you want to, be a normal person and not be one of them. And took the TV golden couple to the brink of divorce. The brink, can you imagine? They were married in 1984. He allegedly had numerous affairs. Somehow I'm not shocked by this, since they got together, including a fling with one of his top producers. Well, what do you have? See, this is, my only producer is Michael Piercy, so, we're in the clear here. My best girl is safe as the day is long. Let me tell you this, okay? 2006 lawsuit alleges that Maury, who's now 85 years old, had a relationship with Donna Benner Ingber. They name her. They got her name right here. Hey, Donna, if you're listening, call in. We're at 888-630-9625. Donna Benner Ingber, 20 years his junior. Well, what's he going to have an affair with a woman older than him? Come on, he's a TV guy. He's got his own TV show. Court documents also revealed that the talk show host had a hostile workplace where alcohol and pornographic videos were commonplace, as well as parties known for inviting open, notorious sexual activities. So it's an orgy. They're having an orgy over there. They think they're having an orgy? Could be something like that. Now that's the early monkeypox thing going on there. Kind of amazing. And I like this line in the story. According to the National Enquirer at the time, see, it turns out the National Enquirer was right about everything all along, including the space aliens and stuff. They knew about that before anybody. The lawsuit, launched by another producer on the Maury Povich show, left Connie humiliated. Well, it's a network news anchor's life, and that's what happens. And family friend said Connie has been humiliated over the lawsuits, and the word from her pals is she could demand a divorce. I would think that usually leads to situations like that, usually lead to divorce. That's what happens. For years, she's considered herself a serious journalist. Yeah, that's the most important thing here. And always put up with Maury's questionable content matter on his syndicated television shows, but accusations of cheating An extramarital affair is just too much for poor Connie to take. She's crying to pals that it's even worse because, she attached her reputation to Maury by doing a husband and wife show for MSDNC. Sure. Yeah, but, there you go. That's what goes on. The show put a spotlight on their behavior, and the former producer Bianca Nardi, who brought a multi-million-dollar lawsuit against how the crew member had asked her if she booked a hotel room for Donna to beep Maury following a dinner party. Really, after dinner, it's a little full, kind of moving slow, just a little dessert. That's the thing there. That's this is your network news people. When they're not screwing the country, bada bing, bada boom. That's kind of your Democrat Party. That's what they're all about. Isn't that amazing? Let's get back to Hillary Diane, because Hillary Diane, she did the Rachel Maddow thing, which aired last night, where she's inciting political violence, seems to be encouraging assassinations and more political violence. The Democrat Party loves political violence, mob, street political violence. They love, they've. I haven't found the thing. Where's the who was it? I want to give them credit that tweeted out that the Democrat Party has normalized assassination attempts. Just as long before January 6th, they normalized mob political violence, mob street violence, political violence, storming the White House for 3 days, forcing the evacuation of the president. The Democrats, they're a party of violence. They're the party of terrorism. They created America's oldest terrorist organization, the White Knights of the Ku Klux Klan. And who put it? It was David Marcus. David Marcus put it that they normalized assassination attempts, honestly. Yes, sir. You're a Democrat. Yeah, David Marcus, there it is. Just like that, the left has normalized assassination attempts. And it's a great observation, just as the Democrat Party normalized mob, street, political violence. And they did. And some people got it in their heads on January 6th, well, this is normal now. So this is no big deal. They did this at the White House for 3 days, and it wasn't even a news story. They stood there and told us, with the buildings burning behind them, that it was mostly peaceful. Yeah, but David Marcus writing, FoxNews.com, just like that, the left has normalized assassination attempts. And then Hillary goes, MSNBC with Rachel Maddow, demonizing the target of the second would-be assassin. He was actually shot on the first go-round. So David Marcus writing, second attempt on Trump's life draws a yawn from media, and that should scare us all. And David Marcus is 100% right, 100% correct. And he writes, I was sitting in an empty horse racing grandstand having a cigarette, about to order a steak at the Hollywood Casino in Washington, Pennsylvania, when I saw on my feed that a second assassination attempt on Donald Trump had been confirmed. After saying a prayer to St. Michael, the Archangel, I walked back into the Bistecca Steakhouse. Sounds nice. Took back my seat at the bar and told the bartender and two guys there, another assassination attempt against Trump. Are you surprised? One guy, a retired Teamster, asked. A line triggered a memory. It almost seems normal now, the bartender added. Then I ordered a ribeye and a glass of Merlot. Really, a ribeye, I think, deserves a heartier red wine, don't you think? A Cabernet or maybe a Brazilian or Argentine wine. But okay, I'm a little light for that. And went back to watching the Chiefs against the Bengals. And it's true, this is what happened. And he makes an astute observation, a correct observation. I've told you the story before, but my best girl and I were down at the Georgetown waterfront here in Washington, D.C., the first go-round. And we were sitting at a high-top table overlooking, the boats going by on the muddy Potomac River, the Kennedy Center and the Watergate to our left over there. And I started getting text messages, Trump has been shot, Trump has been shot. I went up to the bar, big outdoor bar. They have a couple of big screen TVs. They had sports on, right? And I talked to the bartender, non-English speaking, of course, and said, listen, could we turn one of these TVs to a news channel? Trump has just been shot. And there was a guy sitting to the right. It's Georgetown, it's Washington. They're all lefties, right? And a guy sitting at the bar by himself because nobody likes him. Nobody wants to hang with him. He doesn't have a girlfriend. And he's sitting there by himself. And he had his phone in his hand. And he looked up bored and said, yeah, it looks like he's going to be okay. And there was clear disappointment in his voice. So I shot him. You know. Okay, I didn't shoot him. I didn't actually shoot him, but it's, this is what the Democrats have done to politics in America. It's 100% the Democrats. And the reason Donald Trump became the nominee back in 2015, 2016, coming down the escalator, is because at long last, a Republican who would counterpunch. Because, the Republicans are tired of just being brutalized by a corrupt news media year after year, election cycle after election cycle. Finally, somebody who wasn't a Republican a year earlier who's going to punch back, and he's going to fight because he's a brawler. And now, they've been trying to kill him ever since, trying to jail him, impeach him. And they impeached him for making a phone call to Ukraine to ask about the Biden family getting millions of dollars from a Ukrainian company. And it was all true. And was Joe Biden impeached? And then it turned out, millions of dollars from Ukraine going to the Biden family coffers for providing nothing in return. And we have a news media stocked with Democrats who are all so corrupt that they have sex with Maury Povich on the side, and they lie about everything and cover up real news about Hunter Biden's laptop, and they censor Twitter and Facebook, and they have the FBI do it, and they have the intelligence community lie to the American people about Hunter Biden's laptop, the felonious 51 letter. And this level of corruption is perfectly normal now. They've corrupted the FBI. They've corrupted the intelligence community. We're more like the Soviet Union than Russia is today. Although Putin would like to bring it back, but never mind that. And he continues, none of the networks cut away from the action, right? Football for news coverage. This is day before yesterday now. My best girl and I were in the airport in Atlanta, Georgia, when all this was happening, and I was noting and texting people and talking to my best girl. ABC News did a 30-second cut-in during halftime or somewhere, and didn't say much, and I had more information than ABC conveyed. It was like, yeah, whatever, a plane landed safely today. It was like no big deal. So none of the networks cut away from the action for news coverage. My phone wasn't blowing up with notifications. And my guess is 90% of the people down on the floor of the casino or in the sports book had no idea that anything had even happened. That's 100% right. All I know is that if such an attempt had been made on Vice President Kamala Harris's life, the games would not have, they would have cut away. They would have gone to news. If Joe Biden had been, they would have cut away. If Kamala had been, if Barack Obama in retirement as former president, if this has happened to Barack Obama, they would have cut away. There's no doubt about it. But now let's go to soundbite number 6, and that's a good, smart thing that they've normalized presidential assassination attempts because they hate President Trump so much. And it's about hatred. It's all about the hatred. The central value of today's Democrat Party is hatred of you, of me, of Trump. And when the left is filled with hate, what the 20th century demonstrates is that a lot of people die. Pol Pot and Stalin and Mao and no group of people in the history of the world has murdered so many people in the name of their goals. And those goals are now the goals of the Democrat Party. Make no mistake. And their sense of humanity has left the building. I just mentioned, in fact, football season is here. And Prize Picks is the best place to get real money sports action while you're watching football. The app is really incredibly simple to use. You pick 2 or more players across any sport, Pick more or less on their projections, and you could win up to 100 times your money. It's all withdrawals are fast and safe and secure. And not only that, but Prize Picks is the only daily fantasy app with injury insurance. Injury insurance, what's that? If one of your players goes down in the first half, Prize Picks doesn't count the game as a loss for you. Download the Prize Picks app today and use the code PLANT, P-L-A-N-T-E, to get a $50 credit instantly when you play just $5. That's the code PLANT on Prize Picks to get a $50 credit instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks. Run your game. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details. Yeah, that's true. The Democrat Party has normalized. They've made, as long as it's a Republican and Trump. Again, if any Democrat were targeted, if it was Hillary Clinton or Barack Obama or Kamala Harris or Joe Biden, and God forbid, all the football would be blown out. The Democrats would be panicking. They'd be burning police cars and looting your neighborhood. Well, at least my neighborhood. All right, let's see. I've still got plenty more to get to. I got to update you on some of the Florida would-be assassin and the news media stoking on Hillary Clinton, fanning the flames of more political violence in America because the left is here. They're not liberals. Let's go to Alan, calling from Chicago, Illinois. Alan, you're on the Chris Plant Show.
Hey, Chris, nice to talk to you. You know, clearly the problem that we have with the security for Donald Trump is it's inadequate. I'll give an example. The mayor of Chicago, Lori Lightfoot, had 7% of the entire Chicago Police Department in her contingency. She doesn't hold rallies. She doesn't travel out, didn't travel out of the city. She lives 5 to 8 miles from downtown. Donald Trump also golfs at that golf course on a regular basis. You would think that they would have a plan. You know, they'd have a plan of attack, where to position people, what exactly to do, and how to make sure that he was protected. This is a horrible, horrible failure, but you got to wonder, are they intentionally, like they did with Robert Kennedy, are they intentionally putting this man at risk? I'm not saying there's a conspiracy, but to me, this is neglect on the part of the White House.
Well, the White House is obviously hostile to, and the Department of Homeland Security and Alejandro Mayorkas hostile to Donald Trump, hostile to They were hostile to Robert F. Kennedy Jr., wouldn't give him a Secret Service detail either. And the Democrat Party has become the party of political violence in the street and now in the bushes. Yeah, this Hillary Clinton. We were just taking another look at the Hillary Clinton-Rachel Maddow interview on MSDNC last night. And the interview was 8 minutes and 53 seconds long. 8:53, nearly 9 minutes long. And there were two questions from Rachel Maddow. In fact, do you have the first question there? Because the question that Rachel Maddow tees up is an attack on President Trump about what a bad guy he is. And again, this is, they aired it last night. They promoted it for last night. I assume it was done yesterday or, no earlier than yesterday. It's possible that they taped it on Saturday and then just lied to their audience about it and made it look like it was live or nearly live, because they lie about everything all the time. It's MSDNC, it's NBC fake news, it's Hillary Clinton and Rachel Maddow, political radicals, fanatics. But it was almost 9 minutes long, two questions. And so Hillary was just given the network, just handed over. And again, hours after a second would-be assassin is arrested by the police. And this is the number one question that Hillary Clinton gets from NBC fake news, and you don't have it there, and from Rachel Maddow. And she teed it up as, Trump sure is terrible with, Arlington Cemetery, and saying all these awful things. He's such a terrible person. They're just pouring gasoline on the political fires that they created, and they're I think it would be fair to say making matters worse.
I am struck by the fact that as his campaign careens into very, very offensive territory.
This is the open
association with Holocaust deniers and the outrages at
trying
Arlington
to
National
destroy
Cemetery
Israel
of all
right
places, the insults to recipients of the Medal of Honor, the recent
this is yesterday.
Incredibly racist and dangerous lies about specific groups of immigrants, Haitians in this case, and Venezuelans in the case of Colorado. I am struck by the fact that as much as we thought we might have been inoculated against sort of outrage tactics like that, where everything else gets thrown by the wayside and everybody starts responding to his outrage du jour. It's a way of sort of yanking everybody's chain. I sort of feel like we haven't learned, and he's still being taught, especially by the media, that the more offensive he is, the more he can dominate the media space.
You're the media
entirely, and I feel like you've been a good diagnoser of that, not only from when you were up against him, but from when others have done so. Do you have an antidote for that, or a way that people can talk themselves out of taking that bait?
Here's the question. That was the question, and there were two questions. In the nearly 9-minute interview, the network was handed over to Hillary Clinton by these propagandists, these filthy, corrupt, stinky, smelly propagandists. And that's considered to be a journalistic question. And for that, she rakes in $30 million a year. When you're paid $30 million a year, Michael, what is your biweekly paycheck? What is it? Because it's what is that a month? 30 divided by 12, and then by 30 divided by 24. So that's pretty amazing stuff. That's more than $1 million. And it's not like she's doing something remarkable or something great, but the propaganda apparatus of the Democrat Party is boundless. It's extraordinary. It's the most amazing propaganda apparatus literally in the history of the world. Joseph Goebbels on a spit in hell is green with envy. He's on a spit in hell, but he's still green with envy. Now, let's go, because then after this hardball interview, and then they went off and, rolled around and whatever they did, because it's all part of the fluffy fluffer thing. Know what I'm talking about? Just amazing. Manischewitz. And let's go to soundbite number 6, because Hillary then went on a podcast with someone named Kara Swisher. Kara Swisher was the person, and it's all fluffy fluff, right? Because when you're a Democrat, you don't get any hardball questions. You sit down with someone that you might be dating and all that implies. Because, you're turning over your children to them. It's the party. Man, oh man. Kara Swisher self-describes as a journalist. That's pretty funny because, New York Magazine, left-wing, radical, and, just a mouthpiece, yet another mouthpiece and she's on the LGBTQ spectrum, as you might expect, because Democrats, that's fine. And I think everybody, they don't have any straight people anymore. Remarkable. So here is Hillary on the podcast with her close personal friend, Kara Swisher, taking more tough questions.
Well, he had his alter ego, Elon Musk, say something really rotten and creepy about her.
Please comment on that. It was what Elon said. It was he essentially would have a baby with her, or forcibly have a baby with her, and then
impregnate her. Which is kind of another way of saying rape, I think.
Right. I agree with you.
I can't understand. I agree with you. Why he says what he says.
Now, this is another mental disease that they have both just demonstrated here. The Independent covered the story out of the United Kingdom, but not the New York Times. Hillary Clinton condemns Elon Musk's, quote, creepy, end quote, message to Taylor Swift, quote, another way of saying rape. So what are you talking about? The former U.S. Secretary of State offered her view on Taylor Swift endorsing Kamala Harris. Why would Taylor Swift endorse anybody? But never mind that. Who cares? In fact, it'll probably work against, and there's a poll now that shows that since being endorsed by Taylor Swift, support for Kamala Harris has actually gone down. Hillary Clinton has condemned Elon Musk's, quote, rotten and creepy, end quote, social media message to Taylor Swift, describing it as, quote, another way of saying rape. I'm sorry, what's the, they love this. It reminds me of the woman that claims she had sex with President Trump in the Bergdorf Goodman dressing room some year. She doesn't know exactly what year, sometime in the 90s. And she, what was her creepy name again? Oh, yeah, E. Jean Carroll. Yeah, E. Jean Carroll. E. Jean Carroll. And what did she say about, because she said that she was sexually assaulted by, effectively raped by President Trump. She couldn't say when it was, even what year it was, and had no evidence of any kind. But none of that matters when the lynch mob of the Democrat Party is on the loose on horseback with hemp ropes. But what did she say about rape?
You don't feel like a victim.
I was not thrown on the ground and ravished, which the word rape carries so many sexual connotations. This was not.
You think?
This was not sexual. It hurt. It just, you know.
But I think most people think of rape as it is a violent assault. It is not.
I think most people think of rape as being sexy.
Sexy.
Let's take a short break.
Think of the fantasies.
Let's take a short break. Yeah, so think of the fantasies, she said. These people are unwell. There are a lot of unwell people out there, and the Democrats have unionized them. But isn't that amazing? Just amazing. Elon Musk, the famous billionaire Renaissance man, the Howard Hughes of our generation. Taylor Swift is all over the place saying all kinds of crazy political things. And Elon Musk tweeted, "Fine, Taylor, you win. I'll give you a child and guard your cats with my life." It's about the childless cat lady thing, right? The childless cat lady. Making fun of Democrat women as childless cat ladies because they're lonely and they're going to die alone and with their cats, and their cats will eat them because nobody will find them because nobody cares about them anymore and all that. But Taylor Swift is going to, I'm a childless cat lady, and that's Taylor Swift sent out a tweet and signed it childless cat lady. And so Elon Musk responded, "Fine, Taylor, you win. I will give you a child and guard your cats with my life." And so Hillary Clinton turns that into rape. And this other woman, Kara Swisher, just amazing. These people they have a lot of mental issues, and a lot of their mental issues are sexual in nature. Am I right about that?
It was what Elon said. It was he essentially would have a baby with her, or forcibly have a baby with her, and then
impregnate her. Which is kind of another way of saying rape.
Where did he say that? He didn't say any. They just this is one of my old Chris Plantisms. They take what you've said, they change it until it's not what you've said, and they attack you for what you didn't say. Now, he didn't say anything remotely resembling whatever mental illness they're putting on display here. Hillary Clinton, I think, is officially mentally ill. And this Kara Swisher, LGBTQJ, that's a journalist, LGBTQ journalist. They've got a lot of sexual issues. These people, the Democrat Party, they don't know what a woman is. We've got a Supreme Court justice who's a woman. I know what a woman is, but she doesn't. She's a woman and a Supreme Court justice nominated by Joseph Robinette Biden, who sexually assaulted his staffer, of course, Tara Reid, who feels so endangered that she fled the country. Fine, Taylor, you win. I will give you a child. I think Elon Musk has 11 children. I think one of his children died. I think he has 11 children. Maybe Elon Musk could give her one of the 100,000, or what's the number now, 300,000 border children that the Democrats have lost track of. The number is now, honestly, they bring them into the country. They don't check to see whether the smuggler that's bringing them in, because you get in for free if you've got a child with you, and all this crazy, crazy stuff. The Democrat Party is mentally ill, honestly.
Can you provide a definition for the word woman?
Can I provide a definition? Mm-hmm. No, I can't.
You can't?
Not in this context.
So
I'm not a biologist.
Man. They are really unwell. They're unwell all over the place, aren't they? All right, we've got more to get to. Look at the time, for Pete's sake, for the love of Mike, for crying out loud. All those various things. Let's go to, let's go to number 7. President Trump had another assassin stalking him the day before yesterday. The media's moved on to P. Diddy, who's a Democrat and is now up on charges of child sex trafficking. We're just learning the press conference going on now. They're the breaking news that he's being charged, and they've set up a tip line. So if P. Diddy, Sean Combs, Puffy Combs, if he sexually assaulted you or trafficked you or your children in their sex ring, because, again, the Democrats and sexual dementia and crimes are them. But President Trump yesterday was asked about, hey, gosh, we'll talk about it, even if MSNBC and Rachel Maddow and Hillary Clinton don't. They just talk about something about Haitians who are apparently all completely innocent, pure as the driven snow. But President Trump was asked about it yesterday, and he was asked, well, what, you were on the golf course, then what?
All of a sudden we heard shots being fired in the air. And I guess probably 4 or 5. And it sounded like bullets, but what do I know about
shots.
that? But Secret Service knew immediately it was bullets. And they grabbed me, and I would have loved to have sank that last putt. But we decided, well, let's get out of here.
Would have loved to have sunk the last putt. He's literally thinking. And there's a man that was golfing with him yesterday, too, and this is kind of a fun thing. But Eric Trump, his son, Eric Trump, was asked about it. Hey, 2 attempts on your father's life in a matter of weeks. What's up with that?
My reaction is it feels like deja vu. It feels like 5 weeks ago you and I are having the exact same conversations we're having today. Let me just be very clear. They are trying to kill the man. They are trying to kill my father. They are trying to kill the 45th president of the United States. We've seen 2 attempts on his life in the last 5 weeks. And I agree with Steve 100%. The Secret Service men and women, I knew the people on stage in Butler, and I knew many of the people that were on the ground literally 2 days ago. I mean, I know these people. These are the greatest people you'll ever meet. These people will take a bullet from my father. They'll take a bullet for any side. That's their job. They love their job. They're incredibly good at their job.
Now, President Trump was golfing at the time with a friend of his named Steve Witkoff. I never heard of Steve Witkoff. Seems like a perfectly nice man. And he was asked, hey, you were on the golf course with him when there were shots fired, up the fairway. What was it like?
I got to see a man who was stoic, courageous, cared about his friends' safety and first before his own life. He was an inspiration to everybody who was around him yesterday. I wish the whole country could have witnessed what happened yesterday, because they would have seen a real leader.
They've seen a real leader. Now, there was a guy who's he used to be the next door neighbor of Ralph, the would-be assassin, in North Carolina. And he was asked, what was your next-door neighbor like, Ralph, now that he's under arrest for trying to assassinate President Trump?
Well, he was very, like I said, jumpy, reserved, didn't really speak out loud too much, and didn't come off as a political person at all. It seemed very, kind of dangerous. Behaviors were just really strange. He'd walk past you really quickly, like I said before, kept pace with me for no reason, had no reason to be out at midnight.
He's out wandering around the neighborhood at midnight. He's shadowing his neighbors and creeping them out. He went to Ukraine thinking that he was going to bring Afghan military people and American military people to Ukraine to fight for Ukraine. He cares very deeply about Ukraine for some reason, to the point that he went there. People there that encountered him, including reporters, multiple reporters. He had a lot of contact with news organizations and news people and so-called reporters. And most people thought that he was a complete nutcase, and his former neighbor in North Carolina thought that he was a complete nutcase. And he had a criminal record. He lived in Hawaii, and our government doesn't do a very good job of being a government. I'm still looking for something that they do well. I have not yet found that. Going back and forth with my friend Seton Motley. And Seton Motley, there's a new item out today. The ATI advisory, the advisory on Medicare, which, you know, the public health system for older people, retired people, and so on. Medicare Part D, like dog, annual premiums basically triple next year from $771 a month, which is a lot, to $2,153 a month. And they explained the reason for this is to pay for what Joe Biden sold to us and Kamala Harris sold to us as the Inflation Reduction Act, which Joe Biden later admitted was not about reducing inflation at all. And it certainly didn't reduce inflation. Now, Kamala Harris did a sit-down interview in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, with the ABC local station there. And the reporter asked a half-decent question about how she's going to reduce costs for groceries and everything else, as she claims she's going to do. And listen to the total BS response. It's not an answer, but the response she gave.
When you talk about bringing down prices and making life more affordable for people, what are one or two specific things you have in mind for that?
Well, I'll start with this.
What?
I grew up a middle-class kid.
What?
My mother raised my sister and me. She worked very hard.
What does that have to do with it?
She was able to finally save up enough money to buy our first house when I was a teenager.
What are you going to do? Very folksy. What are you going to do?
I grew up in a community of hardworking people.
Listen to this.
Construction workers and nurses and teachers. And I try to explain to some people
PhDs.
who may not have had the same experience, but a lot of people will relate to this. I grew up in a neighborhood of folks who were very proud of their lawn.
They're proud of their lawns.
You know?
All right, the question was, how are you going to reduce costs for the American people? And she's talking about the lawns in her parents' neighborhood. They were both PhDs and college professors, not plumbers. And something about her neighbors' lawns, and they cared for their lawns. And that's the answer she gave. We live in a very, very bizarre country.